So I was running a game of basing yesterday. I told someone that the torches in the cave weren't lit, and he said, "So what? They just mid then?"
That's good. That was a good one.
Hey guys, welcome to Warhammer 40K Imperium Maledictum Titanslair, Episode 1, Season 2. We like to have fun here, and you know what else we like to do? Not be in the correct camera order. Now, is that anybody else's fault, or is it my fault? It's my fault, but you may notice directly above me, we also have new artwork. James decided to commission new Holly, I guess, so welcome, new Holly. Is there anything anyone wants to say or any jokes anyone would like to tell before we get started with the pre-intro to the season, then the intro to the season, then the part where all of you get to talk?
I mean, I told him my best jokes before you started recording.
That
so
is true.
That was a good one.
I'm spent. That's it.
All right, and this episode could end at any moment if James has to leave. So, you know, just be aware. We might have a shorter than normal episode. But
I'm in the boardroom at work, and I told my PA I'm very busy and not to let anyone disturb me. So we'll see how good a job she does.
And how long she stays your PA?
We find ourselves in a familiar classroom setting with an Inquisitor at the front of a classroom of Death Watch Space Marines and various representatives, interrogators from all walks of Imperial life. We see that on the chalkboard behind him, he's describing the various ways that the Eldar Xenos interact with the world around them. One of the interrogators raises their hand, and the Inquisitor says, "Yes, Zahn?" And he says, "But, my lord, I know that perhaps this is knowledge that has been forbidden outside of the Inquisition, but it was my understanding that the Aldari didn't sing Wraithbone into existence, that it was a naturally occurring ore or mineral." And the Inquisitor says, "Zahn, you're with the Ordo Kronos, aren't you?" And he says, "Yes, my lord." The Inquisitor pulls out a bolt pistol and shoots him in the head and says, "That information is factually out of date. Wraithbone has and will always be sung into existence." The rest of the class is completely nonplussed. Even the Death Watch Space Marine, who is covered in the blood of Zarn, sitting right next to him, having exploded Zarn brains all over him. We cut forward. Well, technically we cut to the past, because these classes take place at the end of the 42nd millennia. We cut back to the past, where the training videos for this class are set, and we see numerous ships exit the warp, Geller fields collapsing, as the Rogue Traders fleet, the Hand of Calixis, and all of the naval reserve that have come to transport the colonists all exit at relatively the same time. Perhaps most shockingly to the members of this group, early picked captures of the Tyrant class cruiser Darkwind show that it has huge scars on the side of it, and it appears to be leaking yellow spores. It definitely looks like the ship has suffered severe battle damage. On top of that, sensor reading, what do they call it in this? Auspex scans.
Oh, yeah.
Auger
Scans reveal that the Darkwind's Geller field appears to have permanently failed when it came out of the warp. It will not reactivate anytime soon. The word is passed to all of you via the chiming of a church bell that in 30 minutes' time, your presence, the presence of the 3 members of your team and Luther are requested on the auxiliary bridge, as well as the presence of Lord Mercutio Borghese.
I like the fact that whoever sent this note acknowledges the fact that Luther's not part of our team. It's like your team plus Luther.
You mean Morty?
Wow.
I still enjoy that you were like, I don't remember him being there at all. I don't whatever.
Unbelievable. This is literal erasure of Luther. Well, the three of you arrive on the auxiliary bridge with Luther in tow. Mercutio Borghese has showed up in full power armor, space marine armor. He's also wearing a Rabute Guillemot style laurel wreath around his head. So this guy's like, what, 9 feet tall right now, and walking around with a fusion generator just casually on the auxiliary bridge, which appears to be being converted into a sort of like holographic meeting room vis-a-vis Damon Gate Chaos Hunters or whatever it's called. Just like a big holographic tank where you can have a conversation with several people on the other end. Mercutio nods to all of you. How do you look, having arrived in Season 2 several weeks since the last time we've seen you? Since there might have been some changes, Velamris.
Well, Velamris is probably wearing something close to all black or offshoots therein. He has of course, his newly acquired bloodstain scar on his face. He has his 2 pistols, 2 knives, and now a sword hanging from one side, as well as a sniper rifle that is currently carried in a case that I imagine he's carrying like a backpack or something, that he has a sniper rifle disassembled inside a case. And he's definitely got probably I don't know if motivation or just a sense of purpose about him, because he has tasked himself with this whole becoming a knight or recognized as some sort of knight idea, and that is driving him forward at this point, as well as, of course, any requirements to do his job. Those are obviously there as well. But
Rassie?
Rassie's in some really nice looking stormtrooper armor.
Cool. That's new.
With and on his back on one side, for some kind of reach to get to, is the las gun that he's been using. On the other side, he's got his combat shotgun, and he's got sort of in like a sling on the back where he can't really reach it, but someone could help him. He's got his flamer, and in his hands, he has a really nice looking plasma gun. Just bandoliers of grenades, so he's clinking as he's walking around.
This is a man who really wants to become an arch militant at some point.
I'm trying to wonder, who does Rassie call when he's like, I need help getting my flavor out? Is it Velamris or is it Luther?
It's got to be Luther, though.
It's Luther. Luther's going to be his gun caddy.
God, that sounds so
Sword
familiar.
boy.
Sword boy.
He's got the chain sword on one hip. Like, he's got one of his knives as a boot knife, and the other one's sort of like stuck up on the top chest of his armor. He's covered in stuff as he clinks his way in. But it's all been shined. It's all been cleaned. It's all been, the rites have been performed. It's got all the proper insignia all put on it now for the Darkwind drop troopers.
Holly?
Look, I think we touched on it last time, but Holly has done away with her typical religious robes and has opted instead for more conventional clothing, although still with the chaplet ecclesiasticus, and enough symbolism to indicate her ecclesiastical origins. And I guess the other thing is that whereas most priests or low-ranking priests would not really display any sort of ostentation in their look, Holly has instead chosen to, where she owns jewelry, to wear it, to sort of to bling herself up. Most notably, which of course is her brand new master-crafted Inferno pistol hanging at her hip, which probably its barrel will never clear the leather, because I don't think she's going to be any use if she draws it, but it's more about making a statement of I've got this incredibly expensive rare weapon, so therefore I must be an important person. I think she's like trying to do everything.
Somebody looks at her and she's just deciding how lucky they feel.
She's trying to do everything to make people mistakenly, mistake her for what could be an inquisitor, because obviously the ecclesiastical eye of the sororitas is the inquisitorial logo. She's never going to say it. Obviously, that would be heresy. But if they make that assumption, then that's on them, really, isn't it? Yeah.
Now, just as a reminder, Holly has recently had a foreboding vision, so your next mission begins with 1 extra fate point.
Is that on top of the 1 extra fate point I get as well, because I did some sort of rights thingy?
So you ignore the next fatigued condition, I believe, right?
I do that. Well,
you took part in the victory celebration.
So I did exhaustive drilling.
Yes.
Which ignores fumbles with my power sword.
Yep.
I also did devout worship because I was doing some soul searching for the night thing.
This is different. This was the random events that happened to you, not the
not
the choices you had.
Okay. Yes.
So you ignore the next fatigue condition you acquire.
Okay.
And that is not mission based. You just ignore it the next time it happened. It could be years before you're fatigued, or it could be 5 minutes. I mean, you were in the army, so it could be now.
Yep.
And Kain, you have gained influence with a saint, a living saint of the Imperium. The notice of your betters, despite the fact that you are a soulless abomination against gods. That's a rough one.
Apparently, I was believed when I said that I know that I don't get the same reward, but I have the same dedication.
Perfect. I would like whatever passes for this game's version of perception checks from everyone around the board.
Awareness?
Yeah, sure.
I have a sight specialization. Can I use that?
It is sight specialized.
So do I.
I don't.
Now I've got 6 fate points. Do I spend a fate point on this?
Well, before you make that choice, just know all these tests are at -30.
-30. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to fail it.
Okay.
You know what? I will spend a fate point to try and see. When you say all these tests, you mean like all the tests for the first part of the game, or
no? Just this perception test right here is -30.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, shocking!
Wow, Velamris with a 2.
Fate point.
Nice.
Wow, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely dumped a fate point to get advantage on that.
It didn't matter though. So.
No, as it turns, well, of course, because it's either it doesn't help or I didn't need it.
She has continuously evaded the sight of this entire group repeatedly in her interactions with you, but Interrogator Robert is in the room with you right now and is in fact using a chameleon cloak as a hammock to hang upside down from the ceiling almost directly above Holly, and is observing all of you right now.
I'm gonna wave at her
in person. You're gonna wave at her? You're gonna
no,
blow her
I'll do one of those subtle up nods.
Okay.
I'm not gonna wave. That might draw too much attention.
I must be still wearing my hood. I can't look straight up because I just look into my hood then. So that must be what it was.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Rassie's busy trying not to bump anybody with this extra crap hanging off his armor.
Yeah, the -9 failure is incredible. Like,
It
that's
really
honestly
is.
the worst failure I've seen in this system.
It's
At least I didn't roll
just a point or
doubles.
two short of a critical fail too. If that
At least I didn't roll doubles.
Not present is your floating skull friend, who may or may not actually be sentient and able to talk. That is not in the room with you right now.
Being able to talk doesn't make you sentient.
I didn't say it did.
I'm pretty sure
Nice
that was-
Star Wars reference.
I was just gonna say that sounded like a Star Wars reference.
The table before you flickers to life, and you see rogue trader, Lord Captain, Chaderius Darkwind. Now, you've seen Chaderius a few times, but you've met him in his aspect as a businessman and as your boss's boss's boss, essentially. A blazer sometimes, usually a sweater, a cup of coffee in the hand, some slacks, not very ostentatious. This is a man seated on a throne, surrounded by powerful and storied officers, wearing a beautiful red jacket with black highlights, heavy gold chains crossing it, massive skull earrings. So they like dangle down with like huge, like almost baby-sized skulls made of pure silver. Makeup recently applied for whatever communications he's doing, dark rings under his eyes. This man is not Chaderius Darkwind, businessman who has lunch with Velamris. This is the rogue trader, pirate captain who goes to other planets and conquers them in the name of the Imperium, Chaderius Darkwind. He says, "Greetings, my friends. I'm afraid that much has happened since our last conversation. The Geller field of the Darkwind has permanently collapsed. We suffered a attack by forces of the arch enemy in transit. There was some family business with our navigator that needed to be dealt with. The ship will need hull repairs, but most importantly, it will require a quarantine until certain plagues can be dealt with. As a result, the Light of Dawn and its contingent of sisters will be assigned to come alongside and apply strategic firepower, emphasis on fire, to purifying the hull and the rest of our inhabitants. As such, I will need all of you to move off of the ship, as the Light of Dawn will be quarantined as well until the current crisis has been abated. With that said, I am unable to leave the ship on quarantine, so I am investing the full power of my office into you, Lord Mercutio Borghese. And I am investing power as financial agents into your team, Sister Holly. I congratulate you on your transfer into my employment. I understand that you've been given to me as a sanguinarian gift.
Indeed.
I have never received a finer one from the sisters, because I have never received a gift from the sisterhood before. It would seem that they do not know what they have lost. There are many tasks ahead of the fleet. The inhabitants of my asteroid chains need to be rehoused and sold, hopefully locally, but wherever you can find. The buildings will need to be hosed down with promethium or whatever flammables we can find, as they traveled openly in the warp. If you can find a buyer for 3 tapped out asteroids, I commend you. The Navy ships that traveled with us will be departing with the load of colonists and crusaders, and our favorite Inquisitor Profundus is leaving as well. However, it would appear that he's leaving a local agent behind to ensure our compliance with his mission. A certain Magos Biologus is going with him. Take whatever rumors and gossip you need out of that. Our primary focus as an organization is to save a certain rogue trader from his family troubles and lock in my marriage. But for now, we need to take a look around the system of Titanslair, make what allies and resources we can, and get the fleet back into shape needed to move forward before we even begin tracking them. I trust you all understand the assignment.
Yes.
The power of the purse lies with you. Temporarily. But know that you may address others as if you were a member of the crew of the Darkwind's bridge. For now. Should your assignment in Titanslair be successful, this will be the final test before you make the transfer. I have high faith in your security team at executing whatever missions and trades are needed. There are many intrigues in play in Titanslair already, and I am to understand, based on communications we have intercepted, that there may be some sort of war games imminent between many noble houses and the Adeptus Mechanicus. Use this opportunity to buy, sell, trade, and frankly lie about whatever you need to. There are many secrets here, and there is much to be bought and sold as a result. Do what you can and make me money. And then it down. Mercutio looks at the three of you, but he doesn't say anything. He just eyes you with his helmet off.
AP, I'd just like to let you know I have put in my goals for now for this season.
Yes.
So short-term goal is to establish, a position of power here on Titanslair, but the long-term goal is to trade up these 3 asteroids eventually, like through multiple trades, for a new for a new Gellerfield.
A new Gellerfield.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's a great goal.
Impressive.
And that's very Holly.
Yeah, it is.
Rassie, you receive a Vox real quick, just a simple message indicating that control of your regiment is being taken from you. The sisters are essentially commandeering them because they have expertise with flame weapons, which is to say they're Imperial cultists who burn people to death regularly. They're being given a field training course on extrasolar activities, which is to say they're going
for divine ministrations.
Yeah, so they're going to stick them in spacesuits and have them burn the outside of the Darkwind until the plague is gone. So you don't have access to those.
The regiment at large.
And you don't have access to the 3 officers that you would normally have, Rat, Suprenza, and Moon. Instead, you are being given 3 stand-ins from the Imperial Navy's Aeronautica Imperialis, or whatever it's called. They're basically just like pilots who don't have planes right now, who are acting as security troops for you.
But they also don't have names, which means there's a chance to save them the first time they would die.
Yes.
Oh,
However,
yeah.
you also receive a communication from the pilots that you do know. Your pilots for your Valkyrie are Flight Officer Gideon Stormcrow, whose call sign is Porcine, and his second in command, Fioda, whose call sign is Cyclops. They are awaiting whatever orders you have for them. Their Valkyrie is prepped to depart within the hour because you all have to be off the ship in an hour before it pulls up alongside the Darkwind and enters quarantine.
Yeah. So on Titanslair, is there like a capital, or where does the Rogue Trader have any estates on the planet yet?
Excellent question. The Rogue Trader doesn't have any estates on the planet. You are going to want to write this next part down because it's a little involved. There are 4 major locations in the system you can travel to. You can travel within the fleet that you are currently in, which temporarily includes the Imperial Navy, although they will be departing soon. It does include the Higher Power, the Darkwind, the Votanic Pride, and the Hand of Calixis, plus the Light of Dawn, although again, the Darkwind and the Light of Dawn will both be quarantined in the next hour. The second place you can move to is the planet itself, which about 80% of the planet is water. Most of that water is what one would generously call dangerously polluted. About 20% is landmass. There is a 1 part landmass that is roughly the size and shape of Australia that is surrounded by a number of barrier islands that remove the poison from the atmosphere and from the water and turn it into a giant, enormous grassland that is beautiful and untamed. And it also is a weapon testing platform for Titans and Knights. So it regularly gets absolutely fucking destroyed. The other side of the planet contains the main Adeptus Mechanicus forges for the world. It doesn't technically have a single name, but it is called the Cardinal Altar, is the essential capital, which is to say the central complex of, what do they call a planet city? An Ecnomopolis? Save me, Stellaris.
Or Megalopolis as well.
Yeah, sure. It's a Coruscant planet on the other side. Except instead of Coruscant, it's a horrifying shithole. There is, interestingly, a message waiting for Velamris coming from Cardinal Altar. It is from a Magos by the name of Alpha 5 Tak Hus, who is mistress of the Blade Forge of Titanslair, the artisan of the programmable hierarchy, indicating that your measurements need to be taken for your order, and that your order has been received and pre-approved.
Is this for the power sword that I wanted? Or is this for... Fuck, I don't remember.
Doesn't say
no
in the
subject line.
You
No
wrote that
subject
name
line for
down,
you,
right?
friend.
And all the titles.
No, you said it way too fast, and I was too busy listening. Okay, so what was her name?
Her name is Magos Alpha 5 Hus, mistress of the Blade Forge of Titanslair, artisan of programmable hierarchy. I'll write it down for you, buddy.
I literally got Magos Alpha 5, and then I couldn't make out what the next character was, and so my brain just stopped, and then you kept going, and I was like, nope, I'm done. I can't keep up now.
Look, it's Warhammer 40K. It could be really tough to keep up with all of the titles and such.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So just to clarify, you said 4 locations. So I got
Yes, so we've done the fleet, we've done the planet.
Yeah.
In orbit of the planet, there is a convoy of Imperial Knights. They appear to be Knight Questers. They are from House Veroth, and they are arriving for the War Games. So they are waiting for permission to deploy onto the planet, but House Veroth seems to be holding what they're calling an exalted court in orbit, and are inviting visitors to join if they wish to see the might and splendor of House Veroth. The local...
And so the house on the planet is a House Mechanicus, and these are a House Questoris. Is that right?
Did I get that wrong? I thought the Mechanicus ones were called Quester Knights, and then the other ones are called Imperial Knights, right?
So a Questoris house is a house of nobles and knights, where a Mechanicus house is a house of Questoris knights can refer to the machines themselves, which are the middle sized ones, but the houses are either Questoris houses or Mechanicus houses.
I think they're called the Questor Mechanicus. So House Veroth is a Questor Mechanicus. They are not from this planet. They are from a nearby allied planet. And I think just based on what you're seeing here, they are shield wards of the Legio Macaria of Titanslair. So these are basically like support forces who go in front of the Titans in their knights and scout for them and provide anti-infantry support, that sort of thing. Based on this information, it would not be unreasonable to think that they've arrived for the War Games. But they are a Mechanicus house, House Veroth.
Okay.
You also have, on the moon of Titanslair, there is a fleet that is owing its allegiance to House Vandensarg, and House Vandensarg's vassals, which include House Vavore and several other minor houses. House Vandensarg are Imperial non-Questor, non-Adeptus Mechanicus Knights. They're fully Imperial Knights, and they appear to come from the world of Malir. And their leader, who calls himself Margrieve Angsara, Ansgara, is also inviting people to come see them. They do not appear to have permission to enter orbit yet, and there are many times more vessels in House Vandensarg's fleet. Now, it looks like they are carrying almost 60 knights with them, and there are unaligned orbital habitats that are not Adeptus Mechanicus, that are in orbit of the moon, like traders and independent people who do business with the Mechanicus but can't land on the planet because it's a forge world and they don't want people landing there. They do business here at the first moon, which is called Alpha.
Yeah, so you're right. It's Questor Mechanicus and Questor Imperialis.
Yes.
Are the two house types.
So House Veroth is a Questor house, and Vandensarg is a Imperialis house. Finally, House Van den Sarg has the from the fleet. There's a banner of a freehold knight, which is extremely unusual. They appear to have taken on a heraldry of a black field with a black and silver axe.
What was it? What did you say about the knight? What was he was a
freehold knight? That means that he is a mercenary who does not speak. They don't communicate their intentions, their name, or their former house. They're like what's it called when you join the Death Watch? Black Shield or whatever?
Black Shield, yeah.
Yeah. Or just like a fallen paladin, essentially trying to regain their honor. Freehold knights don't say who they are or where they're from. They don't talk at all. They just show up to
free blades, they're called.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes, free blades. They show up to places where they think a conflict is about to occur and sell their services, essentially.
And to be clear, it's not just a person, but he's got a knight.
He is a knight, yes.
The
and
big giant mech thing.
Yep.
Okay.
Would he typically come with like all the support staff and everything that comes with it, or is that part of the bargains that he makes on the mercenary contract?
I think that would be whatever passes for a lore roll for that.
Oh, see, Rassie has no idea to ask this question. This is a me curiosity.
Yeah, so I mean,
we could just say Rassie doesn't know because Rassie didn't even know Knight's existence. So
yeah, he probably doesn't have a support team. This is a real solo quest, and then hope your allies will pay and repair you along the way thing. With that said, they do have a ship, so that much is a little unusual.
So is their ship the fourth location, or is that?
Yes. So the 4 locations are the fleet of the Rogue Trader and the Imperial Navy, the planet of Titanslair itself, and its sublocations of the Legio Macaria continent and the horrifying shithole factory Cardinal Altar, the orbital platforms and waiting fleet of House Vareth, and the final location is House Van den Sarg at the Moon Alpha,
which has the Free Blade Knight currently attached.
And the unaligned habitats for traders who aren't allowed on the planet.
All true. Everyone's fully checking in here.
So it feels like the place to start from a political perspective would be House Van den Sarg, because they are the night house of this planet.
They are also not the night house of this planet.
Oh, they're not? No, okay.
They are from the planet Malir, and from what you can generally tell, they are actually enemies of the Adeptus Mechanicus. At some point in the deep past, the organization known as the Sacristans, which are techs trained by the Adeptus Mechanicus to maintain Imperial Knights, betrayed House Van den Sarg, and since then they have refused basically orders to show up and get repairs and participate in Legio Macaria activities. Then the latest leader, the Margreave Ansgara, has decided to finally answer the call after thousands of years. So it is somewhat shocking, his appearance here. They always send out a message asking them to show up, fully not expecting them to show up. And so as a result, they are being locked in orbit, not allowed to land until their credentials are double checked. But not only did they show up, they showed up with an enormous force of knights.
House Varoth is also not
They're
from
not
Titanslair.
from this planet, but they are specifically sworn to defend this legion. They are closely allied.
Is there a night house indigenous to the planet?
House Varoth is technically sworn to defend the planet, but Titanslair is the home of the Legio Macaria.
So would, I guess, Cardinal Altar is the seat of government then?
Yes.
Okay.
And most of the stuff I just wrote down is way over Rassie's head, and he won't know.
Yeah. I think Velamris is also struggling with the idea of these mammoth machines, and I'm sure he's heard of them and whatnot, but he just doesn't understand a lot of the intricacies of what goes on behind the scenes. You know, there's these large robots, but what does it take to make them work and go out and do the things they do, and all the politics and the houses and the nobility and all that stuff behind it.
But why male models?
What?
Are you kidding? I just explained all that.
Male what? I'm so confused.
It's a Zoolander reference.
That explains a lot, actually, because I have not ever fully watched that movie. I think I made it to the part where they're dancing around in the gas station.
That's the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, it's like the first 10 minutes.
Congratulations, you have seen the intro, and that's it.
Yeah. I think it was at that point where I'm just like, this is dumb as fuck.
You're really missing out, my man.
I probably am. I've seen a few clips that seem to indicate it's actually not a bad movie, but I just have not
Zoolander is
gotten
an incredible experience.
I just haven't gotten around to sitting down to watch it.
All right.
A good time. I also recommend. With all that written down, almost all of that is either completely unknown to Rassie, or the little bits that he does are so far over his head that they were basically myths and legends, like, everything else he's experienced since joining the Rogue Traders. So,
yeah, I think
my impression is that we need to do a whistle-stop tour of the various power factions and establish ourselves as representatives of the Darkwind Trading House. Because we don't want a situation where we go and visit one, and the fact that we've visited one insults the other, for example. But I think
who
that
will you visit first?
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
Wait, is this in character?
Yes. And so the trick is to, if the order of visiting is concerned, we invite them both to us at the same time.
That might be the better option, but we would need a place for them to come to. We need to leave this ship. Perhaps acquiring some sort of facility on the surface of the planet would not be a bad idea.
Once again, I
some
think
of these people can't come down yet.
Cardinal Altar is the place to start anyway. We need to establish ourselves. Well, I don't know. Do we have the rights already to head to the surface of the planet, or are we also constrained from that right now, AP?
You haven't contacted them in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, so I think that's the first thing we'll need to.
You do know that Chaderius Darkwind does have dealings here.
Okay, so
and
I would then
Velamris at least.
Yeah, I think we need to reach out and request permission to travel to Cardinal Altar to meet with people that would normally deal with Darkwind. Apologise that Darkwind is currently under quarantine and has empowered us as his trade agents. We would like to open business dealings.
You receive a immediate counter reply, which includes the travel brochure that I sent you earlier. That is a main character travel brochure printed out by the Adeptus Mechanicus for local visitors who are not of the cult Mechanicus. A message from the office of HTAC 617, the Reclamator of Cardinal Altar, Archmagos, Imperial Commander and Governor, welcoming you to the world and indicating that a member of your party must have electu implants or undergo such a surgery for transit around the world. All purchasing and selling on the world is strictly regulated by electu implants. And a reminder that deviant behavior, first offense, begins with the punishment and corrective of mandatory corrective brain surgery. You are given flight clearance to land at Cardinal Altar.
Velamris got electus, right?
Yeah,
I thought I did.
Yeah, they hurt like hell right now. It's like getting fresh tattoos, but instead, new bones.
Don't you hate when your bones itch and you can't scratch them?
Yeah. I think that's what Velamris is going through. He's trying so hard not to scratch at shit.
If we are looking for a place to invite for a meeting, we could try to make a request of one of the naval ships.
What kind of urbanization or other development is there on the moon itself, on Alpha?
Alpha?
Yeah.
It appears to be a mining colony which processes resources to be sent down to Titanslair. So it has a pretty heavy, I don't want to say industrial, but definitely like strip mining. Sort of, have you ever seen the movie Avatar?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like that. Except instead of trees, it's just rocks. A lifeless moon.
Yeah.
But it's still got unobtainium.
Ah, yes, unobtainium, or as it's known around here, adamantium.
Velamris will mention perhaps that moon Alpha might be a better neutral standpoint for those that don't acquire clearance to the planet's surface immediately. Perhaps acquiring a facility of our own there is not a bad idea. Either way, I do feel that we have to get to the planet's surface regardless in order to figure out, one, these measurements that I have no recollection of at the moment, and two, establishing our presence as representatives of the trading house.
Is there anywhere, AP, that I could read up on what the social doctrines of this planet are so we avoid insulting people?
Perfect.
That's a great question to ask.
Like a roll for sure.
But I think Rassie just looks at Velamris and says, "Is there somewhere that you could check on to make sure that we don't have any brain surgery requiring offenses accidentally occur?"
Yes.
Yeah, blue eyes. If you got blue eyes, brain surgery.
Sorry.
Wow.
It's so strange that you say that, Kain, because I have to assume the person who is the first to get the brain surgery is gonna be Velamris. You know what I mean? It just feels that way, doesn't it?
It certainly has something.
Maybe
there.
he should be the one reading them and then briefing them.
That's great.
Oh wow, there's some military corrective training right there. Here, read this regulation that you fucked up, and then train your battle buddies on how to not fuck up themselves.
I thought you might enjoy that one.
Yeah, thanks, jerk.
I will take a lore roll, and you can take a bonus if you have specialization Planet Titanslair.
I don't have a specialization. I have some talents that are helpful, though. I'm trying to remember what exactly they do.
Helpful.
You have advantages. You have advantage on tests made to find or retrieve information from a document or archive, and I can read twice as fast as the average bear. So advantage for free, and I will drop another fate point.
That's okay. Well, you don't need to spend a fate point until you've rolled. If you already got advantage.
I get the advantage for free from a talent.
Yeah.
But
so you only spend the fate points for extra successes if it's going to matter. Like if you roll -6, the fate point won't matter.
Gotcha. Okay. So
you want to roll 2?
Please.
I'm sorry.
Or is that only one person can do?
No, you can both roll. I'll give you different stuff.
Oh, see, now you can spend it and get yourself to a +0.
Yes, I will. I will do that. Because I feel like the one guy that ought to be great at digging through files should be succeeding here.
Okay, while everybody's doing intellectual endeavors, Rassie will ask them each for a list of things that they want transferred to the Valkyrie for the ride, and I'll take Luther and go scoop the shit up and stick it on the Valkyrie.
I mean, I feel like Velamris doesn't have a whole lot that he isn't already carrying on him. So, like, all of his armor and weapons obs. I'm sure I've got a data pad or whatever the data slate.
Yeah,
that has all kinds of. I'm sure I've got data slate or two of various bits of information I don't want to leave behind.
You head to the librarium, both of you, and look up whatever information the sisters and the rogue trader have gathered on Titanslair. As it is an allied world to his organization, it's not really a huge surprise that he's got some stuff in there. Velamris, you find that most of the offenses are basically speaking out against the cult Mechanicus. Counteracting the world of Imagos, mandatory corrective brain surgery. Talking shit about the Omnissiah, or the Machine Spirit, or the Machine God, mandatory corrective brain surgery. Landing or otherwise interrupting the orbit over top of the charge of the Legio Macaria, mandatory corrective brain surgery, or death without permission.
Was that violating the airspace over wherever a knight is operating? Is that
where the Titan legions are operating?
Okay.
In Titan, Australia, they don't want anyone going over top of it and taking pictures and that sort of thing.
Yeah, because obviously that would be bad.
And then there's a bunch of minor offenses that all end in mandatory corrective brain surgery, like annoying literally anyone, incorrect numerology, that sort of thing. Like
Incorrect numerology.
yes, if you attempt a numerology and your numerology is incorrect, clearly you shouldn't have freedom of thought. You should have a cogitation unit installed to help you think better.
Oh, see,
I'm
the
just picturing
numerology
somebody
one.
that does astrology, and they're like saying you're gonna have a shitty day tomorrow, and I actually have a great day, and so now they have to go and get their brain rewired.
Let's just be clear: numerology is real in the Warhammer 40K universe and
I'm
regularly
sure.
practiced, especially among the
just...
Titan legions.
No, I like how you homed in on the numerology thing. I homed in on the annoying people because my existence annoys people.
It does turn out that you are quite annoying in general. Yes.
My very presence just seems to make people upset.
I think at some point
is
Velamris will point that out and just be like, so I think Rassie shouldn't go anywhere without Sister Holly nearby as a counter to, that out of character would be like, because James has the people person skills to counter that bullshit.
James, what were you looking for specifically?
Well, once again, I was just looking to social doctrines and forms of address, how to avoid these problems, sort of thing as well.
So this world is crawling with Magoses, right? Like normally you'd think each planet has like one, maybe a handful of Magoses. Cardinal Altar in the world of Titanslair has dozens of Magoses. Each of the Titans has a Magos assigned to it to advise its princeps. And yeah, so there are something like over 40 Magoses on world. And then on top of that, there are truly thousands of like middle management Adeptus Mechanicus.
I was going to ask, how tiered is this? So does every Magos report to the Princeps? Or are there ranks within the
Princeps
Magos?
reports to their Magos. Those Magoses and Princeps all report to Lexium Jizik Tak Jezith, the missionary of the Great Shrine, Grand Master of the Legio Macaria.
Can you put that in chat?
It's another one of those long names and titles. Totally on par for Warhammer, but for us poor scribes.
Okay. That, and then that. Lexium Jiziktek Jezith is also the Magos and Princeps of a Warbringer Nemesis. So they are the pilot of one of the Titans as well, on top of being the Grand Master of the Legion. And they answer to HTAC 617, the Archmagos. There are numerous sub-forges. For instance, you already learned about the Blade Forge, but there is a forge for most general types of like vehicle, like there's a rifle forge, and then there's like a specific bolter forge that makes all the different types of bolter weapons locally, that sort of thing. Yeah, just tons of Magoses, enormous number of middle management, like lots of those middle management ranks. And there's also a Lord Colonel who commands 10 regiments of Imperial Guard, who is also a Magos as well. As far as like social precepts go, you as a Rogue Trader's representative, depending on whether you want to call yourself like a member of the bridge crew, right? Like if you want to say I'm a representative of the Rogue Trader, you would be afforded quite a few rights. Probably if you wanted to speak to any particular Magos, that would be arranged within days, if not hours. If you wanted to say you work for the Rogue Trader, things get a little bit more complicated, but open yourself to less interest and risk. Any other specific questions?
No, I think that as long as I can sort of say in the background, I've tried to like chart out some sort of hierarchy and understanding of like who
everything runs through
what the factions are. Yeah. Okay. And is it appropriate for us to approach them?
It would not be inappropriate to approach
Okay.
H-Tech 617, Reclamator of Cardinal Altar, Archmagos, Imperial Governor, Imperial Commander.
H17. That's
617. 617.
617.
H-Tech
Yeah.
617. You know what? I'll go ahead and get that in chat.
Thank you. Thank you. Since you took the time to come up with these people's names. You might as well flaunt them, AP.
I've been listening to some Warhammer 40K audiobooks, and it seems like having stupid titles is a really important part.
Yeah.
Any good ones?
Yeah.
I don't know yet. I've just got like 5 minutes into several different ones. There was one that was like, as they fell to the world, the Space Marines clung to their drop pods. Their ancient paneling reflected their thousands of battles. And I was like, I don't know about this one. This is a bit...
Well, in the audiobook series, I recommend the Sister of Battle trilogy by James Swallows. So, Faith and Fire, Black and Red, or Red and Black, sorry, and Shield and Hammer.
I'll see if my library has those available to check out. I'm sampling the courses. You know what I mean? As long as it's free, I'm just kind of like, I don't like this charcuterie board. I'll take another one, please. We're right at break time. I feel like taking a break might give you guys some ideas of what you want to do. It does sound like you're going to head down to Titanslair and land at Cardinal Altar.
Yeah, I think that's definitely.
I think that's the plan.
In the very near future.
Okay.
We've got at least 2 reasons, I think.
We're gonna.
I mean, the Valkyries aren't suborbital, so do we have a way to get down to the surface?
My reading said that they can be sealed for space travel.
Okay, all right.
According to my Googling, because I was like,
Okay.
Do they need a transport for the Valkyrie? That, from what I read, you all will need to wear gear to keep you alive in the back of the Valkyrie, but the pilots will be fine, and the Valkyrie can transit there. It's just the back isn't environmentally sealed.
What's the I feel like there's something like one step up from the Valkyrie and like 1 or 2 steps beneath a battle barge or something, but I'm probably way off.
Okay,
There's a
well,
huge
that's the
difference between those
difference
two
of like
things.
10 kilometers, right? Like,
Yeah. No, that's totally fair. We know I'm not that well versed with Warhammer lore, or 40K lore, I mean. But I
we're
thought
gonna
there was
go
something
with
a little bit
either
larger.
the Valkyrie has a dedicated transport for it that will bring you there, or the Valkyrie itself can get you there. This is not.
Yeah, so
something I'm concerned about.
it looks like people compare them to the dropship and alien, where they're basically good for like getting you from. They don't operate in space, but they can get you from space to the surface or vice versa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Getting around to the various locations is not going to be your problem. Negotiating there without dying.
Dealing with the people at various
I
locations
assure
will be the problem.
All right. I just found out that there's a very famous person whose very real name for their child is Technomechanicus. So, yeah, Technomechanicus Musk is a real person. That is deeply painful.
Didn't he also name one of his kids after a semi-random string of letters and numbers?
It's supposed to be Kyle. Listen, man, I've stopped asking rich people why they do what they do. In general, I've stopped asking anyone why they do what they do.
I feel like it's just safer that way.
It's not relegated just to people who have unimaginable levels of wealth, just in general. But speaking of unimaginable wealth, your Valkyrie plummets out through... I want you to imagine not being able to see for several hours as you fall through what could generously be called smoke or smog or just toxic poisonous chemicals until finally you break through a lower cloud level, just inches below the smokestacks of Cardinal Altar. Velamris, this is pretty normal for you, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
The world you grew up on was also a forge world, was a shithole. This world seems to have some pretty strange rules to it, but your Valkyrie touches down smoothly, and your pilot, Gideon Stormpro, indicates that you've been given landing clearance, and as the place you've landed on like the whole platform you're on gets pulled sideways and then down into the planet, you are taken into the belly of Cardinal Altar, where you are given free leave to go through spaceport security. As your group approaches spaceport security, Velamris, you feel a touch on your shoulder, and you unexpectedly see Robert standing there.
That's not creepy at all. What can
There
I
are
do for you, my
signs
lady?
that there are inquisitorial agents here on planet. They do not work with Inquisitor Profundus.
So we should avoid them.
What's
Yes.
that over there? She turns her head.
She's gone, I imagine.
Yes.
Did she just Batman me?
Have you seen the
Wow.
video someone did of every time Batman disappears being replaced with Batman like running away?
Yeah. It's so good.
As you all begin approaching, you are given sort of diplomatic clearance to come through, and you are handed each a gift basket with like a little welcome rogue trader, Chaderius Darkwind's bridge crew, with like a little tiny like airplane bottle of vodka that just says the pure distilled on the side of it and has the symbol of the cult Mechanicus on it as a watermark. And then it has like various nutrient solutions, which none of you have the implants to ingest. Rassie, at one point, the people who are getting you through security stop you, and one of them has a mechadendrite come out and hover kind of ominously over top of you, and that particular tech priest approaches you with a blast of binaric, and a less augmented normal human wearing the robes of the cult Mechanicus approaches to translate and says, "Excuse me, Mr.
Mr. Van Lucht.
Mr. Van Lucht, there is a question here from my overseer asking if you are available for sale."
I am currently under the employ of the rogue trader, Lord Captain Chaderius Darkwind. The stipulations of my contract do not include early terminations or sales to others.
What is the value to purchase a lifetime retainer from you, from the rogue trader?
That is something that I would have to... Some consulting would need to be done before I could give you an accurate amount for that.
Did I hear this conversation taking place?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, I think Holly just slides in from the side.
Hey, we've been around each other long enough that Holly can tell that Rassie's trying really hard not to offend anybody, but not agree to anything either.
I'm Holly Van der Velt. I am a representative of Rogue Trader Chaderius Darkwind, employed to conduct financial businesses on his behalf while he is not currently on planet. I can conduct this negotiation to an extent. I can let you know that we would need a little bit of time to prepare a tender document that would outline the value of this particular asset to see if it's in line with your employer's purchasing interest. Could you perhaps share with my associate with the Electro here contact details?
You hear the sound of a 56K modem beginning handshaking, followed shortly by the sound of a dot matrix printer. And then the mechadendrite goes into the robes of the tech priest overseer, and a freshly printed business card. When you touch the business card, it's warm,
Does it have the corners cut off?
Yes. It doesn't have the dot matrix things cut off, so you can do it yourself if it would make you feel better. This indicates that this is Sikiel Turk Tak Faus, and
Jesus, AP.
they leave their contact number in case you would like to call them back about this particular manner.
All right.
AP
They leave a
rolling deep with
blast
these
of
names.
Binaric, which again just sounds like and their translator says Overlord Tirk Tak Faus would be very interested to hear back from you. Holly Van der Velt, representative
We'll make sure
of the Rogue Trader.
We'll make sure we respond at the first possible convenience.
Excellent. You are free to enter the planet. Does one of your company have Electu implants?
I do.
Oh, sorry, it's on my screen. But not
Make
on yours.
sure that you do not allow them to wander too far from you. All of the doors and how would they say, like, elevators, skyways, and walkways, all
Lifts.
manners of conveyance on the planet require Electu implants to function. You may be trapped with no recourse if you separate from your wise holder.
All right.
He just called Velamris wise, and I don't know how Velamris feels about that.
So, but it's the buddy system then. So I'm with Velamris. Rassie, you're with what's his name?
Luther?
What's your name? What's your name, kid? Luther. That's
My
right.
name's Luther.
Did Luther get Electus?
What? Did I get Electus? Why would I get Electus? The tech priest
that
is
sounds like
immediately
a good idea.
And the translator goes, we offer Electu implant surgery for a very reasonable deferred cost if you would like.
I think that would be an excellent idea for our young compatriot here.
All right. The tech priest seizes him with a mechadendrite and begins dragging him into the darkness. And Luther's like, no, sir, Velamris, no, please, no.
What is the cost? Can we just verify that before we sign him up? Like,
oh, I mean, they're gonna sign the contract with Luther. Luther will pay the cost.
Okay, nice. Okay, all right.
It's not on the Lord Captain's time.
I should make my next short-term goal, find some way to hilariously embarrass or to just beat on Luther and just make it my short-term goal every episode.
Look, Luther has to become the hero of this particular story arc. You know, just against all our better judgment.
Oh, of course, absolutely.
Luther is the one that comes through at the end.
This is why he's getting the Electus. One of you is going to be trapped in a room with no air, no something. It's going to be filling with water or some shit.
There's going to be some heretic or arch enemy nonsense going on, and we're fighting for our lives, and there's a MacGuffin we need in order to survive. Velamris is in the front fighting, and Luther goes in the back and scans and goes, I think I made it work, and it saves everything. We're just like, what happened?
You guys are on copium, my friends. None of that's happening. All right. Sikiel Tirk Tak Faus drags Luther to get Electu implants. As you're leaving the Cardinal Altar spaceport, you see that there is a notice written in Binaric and also in Low and High Gothic, indicating that first offenses for most crimes are met with mandatory corrective brain surgery.
They're really big on this corrective brain surgery. I think a fair amount of consideration should be applied before any type of execution, just to make sure none of us step on something we can't get rid of.
As you enter into the main causeway, robes everywhere. Red robes of the cult Mechanicus, lots of tentacles and mechadendrites, steam pipes that are bursting everywhere, random chains, darkness in every corner, red bionic eye implants, cybernetic enhancements, replacement limbs, all of that. You guys are the weird freaks. It's totally normal for them.
Do we know that Velamris came from a Mechanicus planet?
It probably has come up in some sort of, offhand conversation about something. One time back on Escuchiax, where I grew up, this Forge world, that sort of shit. So
As
I
part
think
of your
Velamris. Go
as,
ahead.
as part of your job on the Forge World, the other one, did you learn Binaric by any
I
chance?
can. I think we established that Velamris can understand some.
He speaks tourist Binaric.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Which you might get in high school education classes. Or language classes, I mean.
As you know, there are 10 types of people: those who understand Binaric and those who don't.
No, James. No.
That was a great joke.
Pain.
That was another good one.
I haven't heard that joke in 20 fucking years.
You recognized it as soon as he started speaking. That was the best part.
I knew what it was going to be. I mean, come on. Every fucking computer science student tells that joke 15,000 times.
So yeah, I
Hey,
think
my son was very proud when he got a badge recently that said everyone in this room is going to die.
Yes, that
He
is
wears,
true.
he wears it to school.
Yes, he is technically correct. I'm not sure that people regularly want to be reminded that that's true, but
But yeah, I think we've established that Velamris has at least a passing understanding of common phrases or words or what have you. But obviously, he's not fluent in it, and probably
cool.
doesn't.
Let's lock that in with a roll.
Sure. What would you like me to roll, AP?
I think listening to local gossip is definitely either some form of lore or rapport test. I'm gonna say rapport.
I'll roll some rapport.
Yeah.
It's a vibe check.
So
Checking the vibes.
given where we are, is most of the ambient conversation taking place in Binaric?
All of it is taking place either in Binaric or
Newsfreak link.
Newspheric link. Yes.
Which one?
They're using the Wi-Fi network to talk to each other.
I'm not going to roll because I don't understand anything anyways.
Well, that also
Just
sounds like
Velamris is making this
that
roll.
that sounds like technical telepathy.
Do you like to fate this
No.
in any way?
No, I'm fine with being overwhelmed.
You are
I think that's what it
overwhelmed.
is.
The conversations
Yeah.
take place too fast for you to understand, and there are dozens. I mean, you're literally walking out of an airport where people are talking language you don't understand, and it is just overwhelming you.
Yeah, I totally am down with that. So I think Velamris would be like, so I have this message to see. God, what's it? Alpha 5 Huss, Mistress of the Blade Forge, for some measurements. We need to establish some sort of presence here on planet, whether we have a facility or otherwise. I believe there was something else that we needed to do. I could be wrong. Oh, we probably should check on Luther, make sure he's fine after he gets those elective implants.
He'll be fine. We should probably look into trying to contact HTAC 617.
Yes, that was the other task. Yes,
But he's obviously a very important individual, so we might have to busy ourselves until he can see us. But through the communications we did to get permission to land, can we use those same channels to try and request an audience with the Reclamator, AP?
Yeah, of course. You are given leave to meet with HTAC 617 in 6 hours promptly at Tower 001.
Okay. Is it one of those sort of places where, because the culture here is so foreign, is like all the touristy stuff is right next to the airport, like all the hotels and
I
like,
see.
you know,
You've misunderstood. This planet does not accommodate tourists. It accommodates
no
members
worries.
of the cult Mechanicus.
okay.
Tourists are not allowed to land. If you are looking for a hotel, none such exists. You may purchase a room in a dorm from the cult Mechanicus. It's probably closer to 7 of 9 sleeping cubicle from Star Trek Voyager.
Got the little power ports and whatnot.
We'll just have a regeneration cycle in the alcove. No biggie.
So you may request transport via a chimera or a termite if you would like to meet with Alpha 5 TAC Hus, Velamris. They are willing to send a vehicle out to meet you at the spaceport and then deliver you into the depths of the Earth.
Just for your benefit, there, a termite is like a mole machine, like a giant drill bit which just drills down through the Earth.
Nice.
So,
Velamris will be very curious about the 6-hour timeline. He doesn't want to be late to see the governor of the planet, no matter his Adeptus Mechanicus titles. So he will be asking. I'm trying to figure out the polite way to phrase it, but basically he's asking like, how long will this take? And phrasing it in such a way that is not meant to be offensive.
You receive an immediate answer from the office of Alpha 5 TAC Hus that says in a black background, green text, it will take as long as it takes.
I would like to schedule that meeting to take place after meeting with the Reclamator.
Okay, noted.
And whatever timeline of appropriate phrasing I might need to use to get that.
You get an extremely terse acknowledgement of message.
That's not a good sign.
it just says acknowledgement message. That's you can't be more terse than that.
Yeah. I think Velamris is reading into it though. I think being reminded of what being on a Forge world is like and some of his own experiences, he's just like, okay, yeah, nope, they're mad at me, even though it's just 2 words. Message received.
Is there we don't know our way around this place.
I mean, Velamris has a local
I have the Electu thing. I'm sure I can find a map.
Mini map HUD uploaded into your brain through your Electu implants.
Yes. In fact, I probably see Rassie trying to figure out where he wants to go. And I just look at him like, where are you trying to go?
I don't know how to get to, was it Tower 01?
001. Tower 01 is very different.
Yeah. I was waiting for that.
I don't know how, I don't have a map to know where Tower 001 is or how long it will take us to get there. I also don't really know how, like, even if we know where it is, I'm not sure.
Is there a way to...
When you say you need a map, someone nearby turns, lets out a blast from Binaric towards you, then extends a clawed hand, puts it on your shoulder, and lets out another blast from Binaric, and then nods and walks away.
Well,
can I make a roll to see if I have any idea what he just said?
I think you heard something along the lines of open the channels to your new spheric link. I'll send you the information you require, brother. Ah, I see. You are unaugmented. Good day.
Good luck. I feel like, yeah, that's going to be a common. I will look at my map and see if there's a way to identify a location where I can produce a tangible 2 or 3D image of this map so that these two can have a copy and not have to rely solely on my own.
Oh, we're relying solely on you right now anyways. So.
Well, yeah, right now, yes. But like
we still don't have Luther back.
Right. So like basically he wants to create a map that he can share with these two these super unaugmented.
Yeah, so the problem here is that this place is like 3-dimensional. You're underground right now, and there are surface structures, and then there are multiple levels. Yeah, so it's way too complicated to be displayed on a 2D space.
Okay. But we have data slates.
You do have data slates, sure.
Is there a way to transfer that information? So that, because again, like I can put it on a data slate.
A mind impulse link or any other form of cybernetic?
I don't have any cybernetics outside of these Elect2s, which are not considered cybernetic as far as I understand it. Okay. All right. Where can I go acquire a digital copy of a map and have it implanted onto my data slate so I can share it with my compatriots.
I'm
There's
sure
got to
there's
be a
gotta
data
be some
store
sort
somewhere
of
nearby.
local services role that you can make.
Or could we purchase or hire some sort of like guide servitor?
I think that's what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to buy a local, like, low-ranking tech initiate whose job is to translate and guide you to wherever you're going for the day. I'm pretty sure. I know that Stars Without Numbers has a thing where you can purchase services. I think this game also has that as well, where it tells you.
I'm gonna look at Sister Holly, who has a way with words and negotiation, and be like, Sister Holly, perhaps a local guide to help us move along. I feel as though the map in my head is going to only get us so far.
Augmetics. Services. Here we go.
Yep.
Travel table? No. Planetary system, city hive, transportation services.
Transportation services.
Transportation. Travel.
Okay, it's not going to cost you very much. Let's say it costs you 500 to transport all of you on an interhive conveyor or land train for the rest of your visit here today.
All right, I will pay the 500.
Yeah.
And I will, in my data slate, record that we need to have Luther take care of our travel expenses. The paperwork, I mean.
You mean you need to get your receipt, what do they call it when you take it to...
Validated? Get our parking validated?
You receive the services of a Imperium Mechanicus adherent by the name of Gefanovius.
God, please, AP, please, for the love of God, put that in chat.
It's just one name. How hard could it be to remember Gefanovius?
It's the spelling, maybe?
It's Gefanovius. Come on, everybody knows Gefanovius here locally.
Yeah, sure. That's why he's doing this job.
It's true.
Yeah, it's actually his nickname. His real name's much longer.
That's the name that's the nickname he offers to the unaugmented.
Yes, yeah, exactly. His real name is the binary version of that.
So he is a low-ranking tech priest. Basically, like, about to exit from being an initiate, like a cadet, an officer cadet, and he has been assigned to make sure that you all stay out of the way of your betters. And he explains this to you in very plain, low Gothic.
I think Velamris has when he recognizes that, he's like, yes, please, thank you. And we look forward to you keeping us out of other people's way.
So he's unaugmented cybernetically in any way. You don't see any tentacles or tendrils or mechadendrites or limb replacements, cybernetics, eye replacements, bio-augmetics, none of that. He looks like a normal, pure human in a red robe, and he's just like, yes, you understand our problem. Yes, it is good for you to be apologetic.
I have spent much time on a Forge world as an unaugmented type. This is not my first, as they say, corral.
Which Forge world were you from?
One that I cannot pronounce, Eskuchtax or something like that.
We will send the priest of Eskuchtax a commendation that you know your place.
I don't think that's necessary, but I dare not presume to tell you what to do or not do.
It is good that you do not presume to tell us what we do.
Otherwise, we wouldn't send the note.
Please, if you could, we do need to get to Tower 001 for a meeting in a few hours.
You have authorization?
We have organized the invitation with HTAC 617.
Very well. I will take you as far as I can.
Is there a limit to your reach? Insofar as being able to get us there?
I will wait outside the building for you.
Fair enough.
Is Luther returned to us?
No.
We need to get a message to him.
He's going to get several days worth of surgery, and then after whatever it's called, rehabilitation.
Aftercare.
I don't.
Well, no,
I don't think
that's
aftercare is the correct term, but if
no, it is not.
So this took Velamris a couple days as well, right? So
It depends how violent he feels, I suppose.
So this okay.
This
So
is totally
we're expecting
normal.
this.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Then yeah, we're totally just going to abandon him in the mechanics care.
Ooh.
Okay.
He's busy for the next couple days.
Yeah.
You all
and he's
through,
already got work waiting for him when he gets back.
You
Here,
travel
file
through
these travel
the
reports.
most efficient path that Fanovius can plot for you, which involves changing trains at least 6 times rather than taking an express train, which you have to wait longer for. Instead, you save 12 minutes by changing your train 6 times and bumping into tons of people. And briefly, like, Rassie gets lost and you have to go pick him out of a crowd. You just barely make it into the closing doors of a subterranean subway, that sort of deal.
And I feel like this is all normal to Velamris, at least on some extent, because he had a fairly...
In the first episode you were robbed on your train, and that was normal as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I like the idea that
he only had one train to hop on and off because it went straight from work to home to work to home.
I like the idea that because Rassie's so little that during one of these times that he's lost, he looks around, doesn't see anybody else. He just like holds a hand up so he can appear over people's shoulders so you can find him.
I see his hand.
You arrive at Tower 001. Its base is deep within the subterranean forges of the world, but it rises far above the surface into the cloud layer. The kind of people going in and out are not even servitors. They are tech thralls, lower even than a servitor, menial laborers who are basically more machine than man. Unsurprisingly, however, you do see that there are some Titan ad secularius among them. They are assistants to tech priests who are basically like Titan servitors, essentially. The other type of person you see are like electro priests, engineers, tech priests, and like logis that are all like hunched over, red robe, basically like a rounded mound of machine and flesh that are moving very slowly around the base of the tower. It seems kind of like this place is a combination of Greek forum for discussing important ecclesiastical matters of the cult Mechanicus and administrative building. For you, Velamris, when you arrive, your Electu implants buzz and give you a general direction that you should go to make it to your meeting on time.
Okay. Yeah, I will get that notice and be like, all right, this way. We need to go this way.
Chief Anovius waits outside for you and is like, generally, he's constantly bowing to people that are going past him. He's like, yes, my Lord Magos. Yes, my Lord Tech Priest. Sort of deal, you know? Just constantly praying to his religious betters as they go past him. You all find yourselves very precisely timed at the exact moment your meeting is supposed to begin. The doors to HTech 617's office opens up. And you see, it would be generous to describe what you're looking at as a human. It appears that they're mostly integrated into their desk with dozens of tubes running to them. A sewage tube, for sure, with liquids flowing out of it. Definitely a nutrient paste tube going in. There looks to be like a blood reclamation tube that is processing and filtering the blood and then pumping it back into the body. You're not actually sure the figure behind the desk can stand up. Like, they are maybe mounted to the desk or the floor. A single red eye appears from under their hood, and they look like they're probably about 12 feet tall. Enter and be received. I welcome representatives from my ally.
Thank you
come in
for
and take a quick bow, and then let Sister Holly do all the speaking bits.
Thank you for your generous greeting. What's his title? Is Reclamator, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, Reclamator. We apologize that Lord Darkwind could not attend you directly. He is under quarantine right now, but he sends a gift. He has heard of the great works of this world and the testing grounds that the Legio Macaria use. Yes, Legio Macaria use. And he has set, he will transfer to you a set of geostationary weather-affecting satellites so that you can control weather conditions for the testing grounds.
There is a
gift.
visible start to the mass in front of you. This is a grand gift. Weather control satellites will allow us to increase our efficiency. We may use less power on the barrier islands, allowing them to be retasked for production. A grand gift indeed. Does such a gift require a requisite counter bribe?
This is, as I say, a gift, purely the opening of business, a gift in good faith, so that we can conduct business upon Titanslair on behalf of our captain, and show that we are true friends to the Cult Mechanicus.
The Cult Mechanicus does not require friendship, but it does not look askance at it, neither.
We then will make the appropriate transfer arrangements. In the meantime, we would like to begin conducting businesses. We have goods to sell, things we wish to acquire. We came before you simply to pay the honor of and respect of an introduction, but if you can point us to where we should begin conducting business, or any matters that we think that the Darkwind dynasty can assist with, that's what we're here for.
All bills of exchange on planet require Electu implant.
We have two agents. One is here, the other is currently in surgery, to ensure that we can comply with all rules.
Your compliance is excellent. Preparation is the key to success. We are authorizing your use of vast and sundry services. We are, however, denying you access to purchasing any Titans. Such things are the sole province of the Adeptus Mechanicus.
In this we are in total agreement.
Is there a specific service or machine that is required by my good friend, Chaderius Darkwind?
First and foremost, we eventually need to repair or replace the Gellerfield in the Darkwind. It suffered significant damage in the last translation. But this may take some time to find the right components. So I understand that many smaller deals will have to take place first.
I see. The purchase of a Gellerfield replacement is involved. Many will need to be sacrificed during the refueling of the engine.
That's a sacrifice we're prepared to make.
One you personally are prepared to make?
Once again, I'm speaking on behalf of the dynasty at the moment as a trade agent.
I see. Yes. Veteran Lieutenant Rassie van der Velt.
Rassie will step forward and bow.
You are a -7, but not yet a -7+. Have you considered service as a preceptor?
I apologize for my ignorance. I'm unfamiliar with the designation of -7.
What would it cost to purchase your services from the rogue trader? We wish to acquire you.
I was made aware earlier by another of an interest in the permanent purchase of my services.
Who would have the foresight to wish to purchase you?
Sekiel Tirtak Faust.
We will make sure to mark a commendation in their file. They are wise.
Given that we wish to pay our respects to you as soon and efficiently as possible, we have not conducted our own internal review of my value to continue the prospect of my purchase.
Your purchase will go through me.
Once we have assessed my value and availability for sale, we will reach out to you directly then.
Your transfer would be permanent.
That is something that I understood.
Do you have any further business you require?
Yeah, Rassie will step back.
Archmagos, we are intending to go next to the Forge of the Blade. Is there anything in particular that you might need from there as well? Any services we could offer?
You have business in the Blade Forge of Titanslair.
Yes, Alpha 5 Huss has requested my presence for some measurements.
Very well.
Is there anything in particular that you may need from that facility? Anything that we could do to expedite your requirements?
No. We may honor you with a demonstration upon the morrow, if you are interested. We would be willing to unveil our Legio Macaria forces to you.
This I would be interested in.
We will arrange transport to the Great Shrine.
Surely these capabilities would be awe-inspiring.
Yes.
We thank you for this honor.
You have been well trained. I am placing a commendation in your administratum file.
In my permanent record? I'm sorry, AP.
Laugh it up for a ball. I'm telling you, motherfucker, you're going to be the first one to get mandatory corrective brain surgery. I don't even have to bait you into it. You're going to walk yourself into it.
I know. I feel like I'm about to by going to the forge, the blade of the forge, or whatever the hell it is.
You're busy thinking about ways to like do all this and keep talking when everyone else is probably like, okay, buddy. And Rassie's in the back going, what is a -7? Why do people want to buy me?
Yeah, Velamris is definitely like, that's 2. And we've only been on planet for like half a dozen hours.
Yeah, the Archmagos the Archmagos is looking to purchase me himself.
We will assign your local guide to your task group permanently so long as you remain in system. You will no longer need to provide them with funding. This is a gift I am personally providing to you, Holly Van der Velt.
You're most magnanimous.
Yes.
I will ensure that this is recorded in our own records.
Excellent. It is good to do business with those who understand our ways. This meeting is over.
Yep, Velamris will definitely bow and see his way out.
Yep.
As you all pass through the threshold of the door, it immediately, like, steam, hydraulic, locks shut.
Yep.
And then you see the symbol of the Cult Mechanicus turn until it's right side up and you hear a locking noise.
All the pins come out of the edges of the cog into the,
yes. You've played Fallout before. You know how this works. You go down to Gefanovius, who is now treating all of you with a considerable higher tier of respect. You've gone from employer to holy charge.
At some point, Luther's going to turn up and find out he's been replaced.
No, we're gonna tell Luther to carry his bags.
Unbelievable. This group has no honor or shame.
It's by design, AP.
Yes, I know.
Well, Gephenophius, I believe it's time for us to go to the Blade Forge.
I have arranged transport. You are on the schedule.
Excellent.
So he takes you to a nearby waiting assault drill, which is large enough to fit an entire squad of infantry. Even though there's plenty of extra seats, all of the seats are that hard molded plastic that's just wide enough to fit like a cybernetically enhanced Skitarii that's missing several limbs. So you're all just kind of squeezed into a hard plastic seat, even though 80% of the vehicle is completely open. And then you feel the whole thing shift and begin to take you directly down. So you're all locked in your seats. Basically, all of the blood is going to the front side of your body.
Not that he's wearing his helmet because he's wearing the Tempestor armor right now, but deep down, Rassie, the whole time the first time we went underground and going back underground, Rassie is deeply uncomfortable by being underground.
Well, these seats fit you perfectly, Rassie.
Yeah, he's comfortable, but he's deeply uncomfortable with the prospect of being underground. He's a drop trooper with earth over his head.
An Alderanian drop
world.
trooper. I have spoken. Damn droppers. All right. I feel like this is a good place to stop. And when we return, we will delve into the realm of Alpha 5 Tac Hus, Mistress of the Blade Forge of Titanslair, Artisan of the Programmable Hierarchy.
Yes.
We'll see you for that. Cool. We're back for the last part. As you all are walking, you don't get any of that sick new spheric content, but you do see a number of signs nearby in Binaric that are advertisements for things you can purchase at the Blade Forge. And now I can't remember his name. Gephenophius indicates that there are several local programs available. Like you can basically buy the box set DVD collection of romance stories that are produced locally on the planet, which include things like His Cog for Mine, which is the story of an Archmagos who fixes up a Black Hands third company captain, and in the process of enhancing him after he nearly falls in battle, she takes a cog from his cybernetic enhancements and swaps it for a cog in hers so that they can always be together. But she doesn't tell him about it, so, you know, it's considered a very chaste love between the two of them, that she constantly always has a part of her inside of him sort of deal. You might be thinking this sounds like a one-episode deal. Everything I just described happens over the course of 24 episodes. His surgery takes the entire season.
Jesus Christ.
A lot of flashbacks of the two of them in the past, where she gives some extremely slight indication that she likes him, and he misses it because it's so incredibly slight. And he's busy space marining.
Wow. I think Velamris will pass on this Mechanicus romance.
You don't want His Cog for Mine, the box set DVD collection, season 1?
No, I think I would prefer something a bit more action-oriented, to be honest with you. Also, I find myself with not much time to be entertained.
You know, I think
leads you deeper. Oh, go ahead.
I think with zero perspective on his choice here, he's gonna just be like, he's gonna look and see the box set and go, oh, okay. Not really pay attention to like what it's about or anything, and go, maybe I can learn more about how things happen here if I just watch something from their lens, and he's gonna buy it.
Ooh, it's 500 Macarian solars. Okay. And it's also only in Binaric.
He wants to learn
the subtitles.
He wants to learn
the
Binaric.
Subtitles
now.
Are also in Binaric.
Yeah. He wants to learn Binaric, so
incredible.
This is like watching.
You know, they say the fastest
TV
way to learn the language is to watch a DVD series. All right, you now own one season box set of His Cog for Mine.
Amazing.
The sweeping romance story. You travel deeper into the Blade Forge of Titanslair, and just imagine the Matrix, but with a lot more chains, and instead of guns, it's swords. Right?
Yeah,
So,
sure.
yeah, just dark forges with lava bursting in the background, like Ironforge from the first part of World of Warcraft. Really, I don't know what it looks like now. Who even knows if it exists? They blow up trees all the time in that game. But yeah, just lots of lava and swords everywhere, cases full of swords, swords hanging from the ceiling, people working on swords, lots of people blacksmithing swords, and in the center of it all is a woman who's standing. She has 8 mechadendrites coming out of the back of her. Her hood is down. She has long flowing golden tresses and is just directing people around, and then finds someone and points at them and says, "Mandatory corrective brain surgery." And he goes, "No, no, please." And somebody drags him off into the darkness screaming. He goes, "No!" She turns to Velamris and says, "You have arrived exactly on time for your meeting. This is good. It will be noted in your records. However, you do not seem to be Space Marine size. My understanding, the invoice for your order is that you are ordering 1 power sword, cavalry saber, sized for a Space Marine. I indicated that this meeting would be a fitting. Where is your Space Marine? I sent a transport sized for a Space Marine."
Unfortunately, he was not made aware that this
You
was
have wasted my time. Mandatory corrective brain surgery. Would anyone like to do anything before Velamris gets dragged into the darkness?
Good luck, Holly. I'm not good at this.
Wow! What? The guy responsible for team security has just fucking checked out.
Let's see what Holly does first.
I mean, Holly doesn't want to get herself into trouble. That's the problem, and she's too self-centered to risk herself potentially for Velamris. I don't know.
I think, if anything, Velamris is going to pull up the data on his data slate regarding the messages that he's received for this fitting and point that what he got never specified Space Marine.
Well, we're going to try to do this
because it was addressed specifically to him. It didn't specify Space Marine anywhere in there.
You're going to try to argue that you met the exact specifications of the message received in its entirety?
Yeah, I mean, that's really the only defense Velamris legitimately has at this point.
Make a charm roll.
Oh, of course.
Is he a Primaris Space Marine?
No. Mercutio Borghese is not a Primaris. He's a firstborn or whatever it's called.
Okay. Yeah.
Obviously, I'm spending a fate point here.
Would seem
to get
wise.
advantage.
I don't think I can help you here, dude. All I can do is get my shit kicked in if they try to grab you.
Do I get anything from Holly to give me anything, any
Doesn't
sort of bonus?
like Holly should know.
Well, I mean, I think that probably the only thing I'll try and ask is because he's brazen consul, right? That was his.
Yes, he's a brazen consul.
Yeah.
And you might have mechanic. Oh no, you don't. Oh, sucks for you. I was going to say if Velamris had Mechanicus, but you don't. So
yeah, with the sacred gene seed being used to create Space Marines, like the brazen consoles, did they not follow a consistent genetic template that would dictate their sizes? We have detailed scans or detailed information on our own augurs regarding working with him.
Her head slowly turns to look at you and says, "Who are you?"
Sister Holly Van der Velt, trade agent of the Darkwind trade dynasty.
I see.
And what was the what did I get from the guy upstairs? Because I was typing something at the time in terms of what did they appoint us as a gift?
Oh, yeah, he just said that you're authorized to be here.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, we're allowed to buy anything but Titans.
Yes,
that was our
authorized
gift.
to commit to bills of exchange. Yep.
Yep.
She turns to look at you and says, "You are with this man," and one of her mechadendrites gestures towards Velamris.
He is a failing employee. I am his supervisor, and will need to administer the rules set forth by the rogue trader regarding his punishment.
She releases a blast of Binaric at Euphonius, and he says, I apologize, mistress. I do not believe that they undertake the ritual of the performance improvement plan. And she goes, illogical. All of them should have mandatory corrective brain surgery. You speak true that gene seeds are on record. However, the gene seed of the Brazen Consul exists on the far side of the galaxy from us. We do not have specific records of it. With that said, it should be easily known that a Space Marine might have a replacement limb, but more importantly, the sword must be sized specifically not only for their genetic structure, but also their personalized combat style, and thus a fitting. Is it not unusual in the first place for a cavalry saber to be requested by a Space Marine? This is normally a Rough Rider Imperial Guard pattern design.
So while this covers, like, as soon as the first, off with his brain comment,
yeah.
I think I've turned my bracer where I've got my screen there for my Vox, and I'm sending a message. I'm sending a message to our Space Marine, like politely requesting his that there's an engagement that if he sees so fit, it would be to our benefit if he could arrive, if he is available, of course.
Yeah, I'll be saying that he is our immediate supervisor. He has not requested this of us. We are trying to improve his efficiency by making these arrangements without his prior knowledge, as he has expressed an interest in this piece of technology previously without asking for it directly.
I'm going to let Velamris or Holly make a rapport check with advantage.
Please, Holly, make this roll, because we all know I'm going to fuck it up.
Rassie,
my fellowship is in the 20s.
Rassie's trying to get...
Yes,
Lord
you receive a
Borghese
Vox from the higher power indicating that Lord Mercutio Borghese is on board and is too busy to speak with you right now because he's running the entire business.
Understood. Would it be possible to get his exact measurements?
Understood. You send that message and they cut communications with you.
Okay.
So
this is my effort. I'm trying to help.
First thing I'm going to do is make a presence or rapport test to try and get my first time meeting bonus.
Okay. All right. Here we go. I forgot about this Grimdark Dreams bullshit because we haven't met in 3 months. But yeah, let's do it.
So I'll split
it's the first season, our first episode of a new season. Wow.
Okay. So
your 50 became a 5. So yeah, that's a pretty good roll.
Okay, so that gives me plus 1 SL on the test to come then.
Sure.
So
but you're really wishing that was the real test though right now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right. So now we're doing a rapport test. I'm doing it with advantage.
Sure.
And I have Lixbittle will give me now. Lixbittle's advantage. I've already got that. So I just get all I get is plus 1 SL from the Air of Authority and plus 1 SL from my mastercrafted my ornamental equipment.
Yeah, I was gonna say your symbols of authority or something, right?
Yeah. There we go. Plus 5 successes.
Turns out your authority's pretty good here, huh? You roll a 12, you have a plus 5.
Velamris has his brain. That's
Alpha
the important
5
part.
Tachus turns away from you, makes a frustrated gesture with 3 of her mechadendrites all going like this out to the side, and she says, "This exchange has been a waste of time. You may return when you are properly ready. We will reschedule this meeting. Cancel the mandatory corrective brain surgery."
Schedule the optional corrective brain surgery.
I think Velamris, afraid to say much more, will say, "Thank you, my lady," and then promptly start to move away.
As you start walking away, she's not looking at you, but you can hear her Vox casted in your direction say, "This will be marked on your permanent record."
Velamris is not dumb enough to shrug and be like, "Fuck it, whatever." He knows better than it. He's keeping that comportment inside. He's waiting until he's out of the building.
All right, so you're on the hook for rescheduling a meeting with Alpha 5 Tech Hus to bring them a Space Marine so they can properly size a Cavalry Saber power sword for them.
Yeah.
How long it will take to forge such a weapon isn't even being discussed. They just need to start the design phase. You are, however, sent a bill for wasting the time of Alpha 5 Tech Hus of 1,000 Macarian Solars.
I will put it in Luther's to-do box.
And you, Sister Holly, you receive a message containing everything needed to undertake what is publicly known about a ritual called the Rite of the Performance Improvement Plan. It appears to be a last-ditch effort before mandatory corrective brain surgery on this planet. It's not a normal rite of the cult mechanicus. It's kind of a local thing.
It's sort of like an optional upgrade add-on for the performance interrogation.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a DLC for that.
It's technically a CYA for the supervisor. What a CYA is not defined here, but the only thing left on your schedule is to fly out to the Great Shrine tomorrow. Transport has been arranged for you, and attend what looks to be a meeting. House Veroth will be coming down from orbit and landing on the Great Shrine, and they will begin plotting for the war game. So it's going to be a huge ceremony where the knights land on the planet and meet with the titans that they will be matched to.
Is that the demonstration that was?
Yes, it will. The amount of time allotted for it is 8 hours.
Okay.
No refreshments will be provided.
No, but on that note, Velamris will message Borghese to loop him in on this demonstration.
You get a message from the higher power indicating that your call is being blocked right now.
Wonderful.
The communications officer
buffer.
is ignoring messages from your team.
Well, hold on. Who's doing the ignoring?
The communications officer of the lunar class higher power.
Okay.
The guy in charge of comms on the ship is tired of you messaging him to be like, hey, go to the boss. We need to see if he can come down here real quick. Hey, pay attention to me. They're just like, we're going to wait
he's about
for
to get
your
a personal
team
visit.
leader to communicate with us.
He's about to get a personal visit.
Sure. Yes, a personal visit, which involves flying up to a ship, working your way to the bridge.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know. Actually, I don't know if I'd have enough time, but at some point in the very near future, there's going to be a conversation between Velamris and this communications officer. Once he realizes that he's being intentionally blocked. Do you hear me now?
Yep.
You will not
I've
block
often
us.
heard going onto the bridge to reproach officers is well received by captains of ships.
I'm just going to have a conversation. No, Rassie, we don't need the
just
flavor.
to be clear,
I'm just going to have a
is like,
conversation.
I'm secretly an assassin in training. I carry a sniper rifle everywhere. I'm just going to have a conversation.
Listen, everything's boxed up or in its holster. My hands are out in the open.
For some reason, I assume Velamris has a strong New Jersey accent now. It's like,
I just want to have a conversation.
Like a freaking problem we got to take care of. You understand? The freaking communications officer thinks he can blow me off. I'm going to have a conversation with him, okay? Forget about it. Where's my gabagool?
I think that conversation can wait until after the demonstration, just because I don't want to spend all that time going back and forth.
It's up
and
to
missing
you
it.
to remember to do this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to remind you to harass the communications officer.
So I don't need to have a direct communication. I do want to send a message off basically to the Darkwind House to simply say that our objective, we've set ourselves the objective of replacing the Gellerfield in the Darkwind, and we've opened that by bidding in the weather satellites that were not used in the original mission. It's that we're not getting a Gellerfield for that right now. It's just the first step in a chain of logistics.
Yep.
But we just need whoever those are the logistics people there to share with the logistics people here the required mechanisms for eventually transporting them. I mean, I appreciate that will take some time, but it's more sort of just our people can talk to their people. The title is transferred, but it's still going to be moved.
So you receive an acknowledgement receipt of message from the communications officer of the higher power with an additional attachment several minutes later. Whatever the PDF version of a message is in Warhammer 40K, you receive an indication that the satellite systems are on board the Darkwind right now, and their transfer will need to wait until the Darkwind is not under quarantine. But the title has been transferred to H-TAC 617, Reclamator of the Cardinal Altar, Archmagos, Imperial Governor, Imperial Commander. They also send you a series of message protocols about who should be allowed to contact the ship and when, and what level of importance should be assigned to messages going directly to a representative of the rogue trader and Space Marine Lord Mercutio Borghese.
Does Velamris receive a copy of this? Like in his
It definitely goes to Holly. What Holly does with it is up to her.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. Do we have like an internal memo system or something?
Yeah, sure.
I think rather than telling
implants, so you could just send it to his brain, I guess.
Rather than telling Velamris, I just sort of like put it on like our internal communications bulletin board sort of thing. It's like along with like the details for like the lunch order system, that sort of stuff.
Lunch orders. I think
I've heard your tale of lunch orders, James.
I recall the story as well. Velamris will see this and just be like, but we are representatives of, you know what? Fuck this guy. I think, fine. All right, fine. I will start assigning message priorities. I think Velamris is definitely having a moment.
I don't think going, hey, bro, you up to a rogue trader's representative is a good start to a relationship with the communications officer.
Well, but he, like, all his messages were always like, well, at least Velamris's anyway,
yes, it was different.
Required.
When Mercutio Borghese was just your Lord Space Marine cool friend, it's very different than he's running the entire structure of the business.
Well, yes, but I think what really set Velamris off was like,
cool, transhuman, 9 foot tall, super strong, super smart, eats people's brains in order to gain their memories friend.
Yes. Well, in this case, Velamris was simply
like everybody in the system.
Just to be clear, they take the brains, any part of the body to gain the memories.
Oh, I see. That's actually weirder.
But they can. But you can eat the brains to get them if you want to.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
How do you gain the memories from the parts of the body that don't have memory? Is all I'm asking. Genetic memory?
Yeah.
A completely fictional concept that doesn't exist? Sure, why not? Genetic memory. I'm going to slap you so hard,
fictional
Omar.
Concepts in my fictional universe.
Your children will remember this.
Stay on brand. That's all I'm hearing. Stay on brand.
Mandatory corrective brain surgery.
Not on my character, but on my player.
Unbelievable. What would you like to do before your next engagement?
Shoot a certain comms officer, but we're not actually going to act on that.
Oh, geez.
You definitely don't have time to go up to the higher power and back down to make it in time.
No.
Wait, do we...
Who's our next engagement, sorry?
Your next engagement tomorrow is the ceremony for House Vandenberg landing and... House Varoth landing and being introduced to their counterparts as the Legio Macaria.
All right. Can we get like a banner pole for with the Darkwind Trade House dynasty that we can then get Luther to hold?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, cool. All right.
Is Luther out of surgery and recovered?
No, not even slightly.
Okay.
What about tomorrow?
Nope.
We just have a cone on his neck, maybe?
Listen, we have a new Luther, okay? You can have Genovius carry it for you.
Okay, nice.
Luther 2. It's easier to say.
Now,
he has someone 3D print him a banner and then has a auto tailor quilt him banner staff, and then has someone print a flag for you.
Yeah, and he gets banned from the XGW tournament for having 3D printed parts. No ITC points for you, mate.
You know what? I opened the episode making fun of the lore changes, so I have no room to maneuver on this one. You go ahead, James. You know what? That was legitimate, and I'm gonna let it pass.
We know that, we know that the holdings, like the manor, the estate, and all of that. Have we figured out where he wants that stuff moved to? Does he want to have an estate established here?
Not clear.
I think Velamris has kind of got the idea that we should set up the estate or acquire a location for it, either on the surface of the planet or on the moon.
Now, you've all been to his actual estate, which is a small, orbital platform that was part of the asteroid field around the thing. Now, it's not to say you can't have more than one estate, but his actual estate is being dragged behind his ship right now in a pile of junk.
Is it?
So,
Yes.
would it be conceivable then that, because it's probably it got dragged through the warp, so it needs to be.
Oh yes, it needs to be.
It needs to be
purified.
qualified
So
and all that.
it's on our same list as the asteroids that came with us. They need to be cleansed and purified.
But it's like in Dawn of War, where they drop all the buildings down from space. It's a space deployable mansion that can just be orbital dropped onto the planet's surface when it's clean.
And then
So
brought back up.
maybe-
Yeah.
So maybe one of the things we should be looking into is somewhere that we could get permission to place his estate.
You need to get a
I was gonna
land
ask-
claim. Yes.
That was going to say something about that, because we could just, in theory, we have to do this in the right way, but we could just grab a chunk of land somewhere on the moon that's not being directly affected or impacted by the mining operations.
Or
we would need to
alternatively,
permission.
if the weather satellites will help reduce the need on the barrier islands for sorting out the atmosphere, perhaps one of the barrier islands might make a nice secluded, it's within view of the island for warfare, but far enough away that nobody can just turn up at your doorstep selling new ship warranty.
Your extended
New
ship warranty.
It wouldn't be in the main forge area, so the business there wouldn't interfere with anything Mechanicus, and we might have just freed that space up, and it's not in the death zone.
I was suggesting,
And it'd probably
simply
make
for
It'd
access.
probably make things easier for the administrative work of continuing the operations of the dynasty to do it somewhere that is set up to do it instead of doing it from the ship.
Just to make sure that when you fly there, you don't overfly the island.
Yeah.
I think the main push for Velamris' suggestion for the moon is access to anybody that comes into the system that doesn't get access to the planet's surface.
I mean, the good thing about rogue traders, they can have both.
That's
Well, yeah,
what I
the
was
road trader
thinking.
can get down, but any visitors or guests or business contracts or what have you, not all of them, I imagine, are going to have access to the planet's surface.
If the estate is on the planet's surface and we get him habitat or something around the moon, then he provides the exclusivity of business from the surface in a place where it can be accessed.
You're saying to go with both?
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea either, because now we're just flaunting it, which is
And
totally
if
okay.
his main estate is the one on the planet, it also protects it from his rivals because now they have to deal with Mechanicus airspace to get to his
That's true too.
estate.
I guess we'll be looking into both options and seeing what needs to be done in order to free up some land space.
I have no idea how to do this, but I think it's something we should try to figure out how to do.
We could speak to the imperial governor of the planet, the Archmagus. We don't need to see him in person, I would imagine. An email might suffice. Or at least to get the ball rolling, such as it were.
The sort of thing would have to be worded in a way that would be received well. I don't
Velamris looks over at Sister Holly. Phrasing seems to be. I don't think Velamris sees that. He's just like, listen, I'm good at shooting things. I'm not good at talking to people. I almost lost my brain today.
But this is writing
your mouth
something.
keeps moving.
This is writing something. Isn't this this should be something you are good at?
Putting the paperwork together once I have the supporting documents, sure. But the phrasing of the letter of how do we do this?
All right.
Okay.
To me, what you wanted to say, I will pen something in.
If there needs to be a put together of documents for this, then if you find those documents and figure out how to fill them out, then we'll know exactly what we need the sister to do. Also, while you're at it, I was wondering if you could look up a reference for me.
A reference?
Something to do with a status -7. It's what they want to buy me for. I don't know what they want to buy me for.
Let's see what I can find. As far as the letter to the Archmagos, it's more about a matter of the operations order of acquiring land for the rogue traders' exclusivity. Presumably, they control the entire surface and under of the planet. We just need several 100,000 acres. I don't know how big an acre is, but we need sufficient land for the rogue traders' estates, both on the planet and the moon, Alpha. What would be the best way to go about acquiring this? That's really what we need to learn, or what we need from the Archmagos. And if there's paperwork involved, he can point us in that direction. And if he just hand waves this into being, then so be it.
I'll look over at
Luther 2.0.
Giffinovius.
Yes.
Surely, given the structured and efficient nature of the Adeptus Mechanicum, there must be a procedure or process to request the acquisition of land for a purpose.
I can take you to the forge where that has happened.
I just look over at Velamris.
Very well.
Very well. We shall go to the World Forge.
I think that would be better suited after the demonstration. Am I misreading the time here?
That's tomorrow.
No. Well, how long would that take, you think?
You can tell that he's
Giffinovius.
about to recite a piece of scripture to you, and he says, "It will take as long as it takes."
Jesus Christ. He doesn't actually say Jesus Christ. I think it's just like, okay. All right.
God
smart ass.
Emperor.
Yes.
Just rolls his eyes,
In
sighs
Sanguinius's
dramatically.
name.
By the throne.
By the way, if that's not the name of the episode, I might be disappointed. That or mandatory corrective brain surgery.
Corrective brain surgery for sure. Well, it's up to you, Velamris. You can either kill time before your ceremony tomorrow, or you can try to sneak in a little meeting at the World Forge.
I just have, and I'm saying this to the group, I have concerns regarding how long this may take, both getting there and back, and the people we interact with once we're there at the World Forge. Perhaps that is a task we can hold off until after the demonstration, but I will defer to your judgment. If you say that we should go now, then we can go now.
It's one of those places where I would rather avoid any unnecessary risk. As you see, it's little matters like being late, not having the required tools punished severely on this planet.
Yes.
I'd rather err on the side of ensuring that we turn up everywhere early than risk something going overtime.
So we should wait a little while before we head over to the World Forge. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I think we should do what we've committed to on a time frame, and then pursue other things when we're not on a time frame.
Right.
Okay, Keefanovius indicates that the World Forge is located 200 kilometers down. And if that isn't an appropriate unit of measurement for you, that's 14,815 Bane blades deep.
Yes.
I totally
Is
understand
that,
now.
hold on a sec. Wait. Is that Bane blades from like track to turret, or is that Bane blades lying?
That's Bane blades
like
pointed
turn
down, yes.
Okay, no, I see. Including barrel.
Yes.
Okay.
So barrel to butt is what I'm seeing.
Yeah. You could stack 14,815 Bane blades from the depth of the World Forge to the surface of the world. At sea level.
So perhaps the day after the demonstration, we can look into that unless something else comes up.
Very well. I think we'll call it here for this episode then, as we prepare next episode to arrive at the demonstration with lots of Titans showing up and then Knights as well.
It'll be Battle Hammer War Tech 40K.
No, it's just Warhammer 40K Apocalypse for sure.
I like the idea that because we've got like time to kill, that Rassie is the Valkyrie just like parked somewhere?
It is
like
parked underground in a sealed chamber.
But we can still get to it if we want to,
of course.
Right? Okay. I think Rassie will go to the Valkyrie and he'll use one of the screens inside and he'll start watching the first episode and taking notes and trying to learn Binaric.
Cool. I want to roll on that.
Okay. I'm fully intending to have to spend XP to pick up another language, but this is the narrative effort.
Yeah, let's do linguistics at disadvantage because you don't speak it.
Okay. I'll spend a fate point.
To put it back to normal.
As a joke, I did ask ChatGPT to generate a bunch of trashy romance novels for Mechanicum in the 40K universe as well.
Is his cog for mine on there? No.
No, unfortunately not.
Oh, shit!
Oh, wow. He got it.
At the end of the first episode, you slowly start getting just some idea of what's going on. You're starting to understand sentence structure. The Magos is laying the captain of the third company of the Iron Hands down. And you can see as his eyes are closing, he's going, "These eyes, they failed to see the ambush, Archmagos. They are useless." And then she injects him with something and she goes, "No, those eyes see me. And that's all they need. But I cannot and I will not turn away for your request. The weakness of the flesh will be cut away." Then you see her reach into her back and go, "Oh!" And she pulls out a tiny little cog from one of her servos. And she goes, "But soon, your cog will be mine, and my cog will be yours." And that's the first sentence you understand is your cog will be mine, and my cog will be yours. And you're like, you don't understand why you're crying because you're like mostly soulless. You have trouble with emotion. But this basically like near autistic display of devotion from two basically emotionless people. You're just like,
resonates.
My God, I get it. I get it. I understand Binaric in just the smallest way. Right next to you, you can see that Gaphonius is just like openly weeping on the floor. He's like, "It's so beautiful. It's just like the first time I saw it. I hope one day to have a romance that twins this one, even a pale shadow. I'm sorry, I'm getting snot all over my beautiful robes. I'll have to assign myself to mandatory corrective brain surgery. I have to get these emotions out of me."
He got his helmet off and everything for it. He just like puts a hand over and says, "This is the first thing I've understood in Binaric. It's so beautiful."
Earlier in the episode, the Space Marine captain turned to look at her and raised his eyebrow extremely slightly, but the camera zoomed in and was like, had a little like nano micrometer scale of like how much his eyebrow raised. And in the bottom in Binaric, it said, "Do not allow your heart rate to raise too much from this display. Report for medical attention if required." Yes,
So-
this sweeping epic romance.
Here are some good, what I think are some good Treasure Romance novel titles.
Oh,
for
please,
this.
Japes, please.
Yeah, Oil My Gears, Magos. The cog of
That's pretty
cog of my-
close.
yeah, the cog of my heart.
Yeah.
Binary code for love. The red robes of passion.
Ooh.
Turbo arms around me. And my favorite, tech priest in the streets, heretic in the sheets.
Oh, I like that one. Red Robes for Love definitely sounds like it was written by Victor Hugo.
Oh,
It involves a musical number where a man commits suicide because his love of the law can't match his love of man.
Oh, this is our Valentine's Day episode, really. You know, it's the episode close to Valentine's
Let's
Day.
relax.
So
Okay, relax. I guess. The love
Can
between
I-
an Archmagos and a Space Marine captain. Truly a story that expands St. Valentine's Day Festival to a new level.
Can I make a roll to find out about this -7 rating that Rassie has asked?
Absolutely. Do you have lore forbidden Astra Telepathica?
I have lore.
Cool. Make it a disadvantage.
I will spend another fate point to have it at normal.
That's a -0.
It
Not good
is.
enough.
Can I add?
You can spend one more fate point if you've got it.
Yeah, I feel like what happens is Velamris ends up running into a wall, and then finally is like, wait, there's a reference here, and he chases that reference and finds something.
So it's mostly forbidden knowledge, but here on this particular planet, they don't care about that kind of shit. Like, what's in their internal networks is not the same as what the Inquisition and the black ships would allow normally. Yeah. You learn that there is a scale of rating telepaths and psionics, essentially, that ranges from like 19 plus, like really 40 plus, down to like 19 plus for like the strongest possible telepaths, capable of upsetting the fabric of reality. All the way down to 0, which is a normal person by Imperium standards, all the way down to -7 plus, which is a completely soulless blank whose entire existence has basically been erased. Yeah, so Rassie is a -7 according to this chart because he's just a regular blank. I think you're also aware that the Hand of Calixtus is home to like hundreds of blanks as well.
Mm-hmm. I think so. Because didn't you guys pick them up in
Yeah.
your Rogue Trader, like from the one planet?
From one planet where they all bred there, yeah.
Yeah.
Hondo
At some
kept the
point,
breeding program going, apparently.
oh.
I mean, why wouldn't
Velamris-
you? He sells them for money, which is why he's so rich.
Velamris will at some point relay that information to Rassie, but since Rassie, I imagine this research is taking place while Rassie is watching and learning by Narek. So it's at the next meeting, the next time they're together, he will pass along this information and be like, hey, yep, it's because you're a soulless blank individual, as we've already known, because Liturgical told everybody about that.
Liturgical told me. I don't think did Liturgical tell you guys?
I thought we were there for that. I could be misremembering.
I had a one-on-one conversation because he was like, "Let me tell you that you're damned, but you shouldn't tell anybody this."
Okay, I may have misremembered.
The fact
I
that you're a
thought he
blank
did.
definitely came up when the horrifying visage of a shadowy Harlock tried to reach into you, and you basically blasted past his shadow defenses and revealed his real human shape.
But in character, I don't think anybody other
Yeah,
than
the
talked
word
about it.
blank has not been mentioned.
Yeah.
The
And
fact
I
that
don't
you're
know-
annoying to be around is definitely well known.
Yes.
And I don't think anybody asked any questions about like the whole reaching thing. I think we just glossed over that in the horror of the whole event, and Rassie was not inclined to volunteer any information
Yeah.
as he was instructed not
maybe
to.
we don't know in character that about your blankness. I thought
I
maybe
mean,
we
you
did.
definitely know it right now. Velamris.
Yeah, now I do. Yeah, and I'm going to tell Rassie that. I think Velamris is like, yeah, I know. Obviously, he knows about Psychers. I mean, obviously one of them was liturgical, and he's probably got some sort of passing knowledge otherwise throughout his life. But blanks he wouldn't have known anything about until now. But it also makes sense as he digs through information and starts remembering different things in working with Rassie. But I think at the end of the day, he doesn't care about him being a blank. He's just like, hey, you're a blank. It's also Tuesday, so let's go do some work.
So do you just tell only Rassie, or are you doing this in like a meeting with all of us?
I think because you asked, I don't know, when you asked, would you have made that feel like it was personal information and only between the two of us, or would you have been more open about it?
I mean, he definitely made it as a personal request. It's like, hey, this isn't work related. Would you, if you've got some time, could you do this thing?
Yeah,
for
in
me?
that case, yeah, that would have definitely been one-on-one. Because you came to him more or less one-on-one.
That could, if that's true, that might, I don't know why they would want to purchase me over something like that.
It's my understanding that you
Those
are
are-
quite rare, so that I imagine somewhere in the Adeptus Mechanicus there is a use for people, well, like you. What that is, I have no idea.
I didn't even know that blanks existed until the Hand of Calexis.
Again, it's my understanding this is a incredibly rare thing. Congratulations, I think are in order, but I'm not sure. Also, we have work to do. We have a thing to get to in a couple hours. So
Yeah, you know, for now at least, maybe we don't talk about this. This seems like this could be confusing or dangerous.
sure,
But
this would not be the first time I've come across discretionary paperwork
yeah, thank you.
or confidential paperwork, I think is what he would say.
Well, thank you for finding that for me.
No need. I feel one, we've become something of a team, and also I still feel a little bit of, I can't think of the right word. Like I owe you a little bit for all of that craziness with the Lord Colonel and etc. paperwork being lost and all that other stuff.
But as far as I'm concerned, you don't owe me for that. You owe the fallen guardsmen.
Well, you represent them, so this is the best I can do.
Fair enough.
So no thanks needed. Although, again, I must point out, we don't want to be late on this planet ever. So we probably should get moving.
Hey, you know this? I think I'm starting to pick this binaric up as we like leave, and that's our transition out.
Yeah. Here, have you tried this bread?
So everybody gets 50 experience points. And then as part of the rewards for this episode, your patron is awarded excellent housing services on planet in exchange for your weather control satellite. So you have a nice trading house that is now attached to the spaceport. It's not for trading. Like, he can't come down and start trading at it. It's just a nice place to visit and sleep at. You cannot...
A chateau.
Yeah, so it's a nice bunker, essentially. It is not a place of business yet. That will need to be discussed. But it does provide housing for you and is a place for your group to stay.
It's a starting point upon which to build the rest of our compound.
Indeed. It comes with a personal servitor chef.
Oh, nice.
It's got to be better than an Ogren chef.
It will be a home for all peoples of the universe.
Okay, James. And just to be
Ogren
clear,
chef.
the servitor chef prepares nutrient pastes for injection into your tubing systems.
That we don't have. So maybe the
You
Ogren
could
chef
get
was
tubing
better.
systems for sure. They're highly
I think
efficient.
I mean,
Tempted.
anything that might get injected directly into your bloodstream could probably also be ingested. It might not taste very nice, but it's probably not going to do any harm to your intestinal tract if
it's
okay
probably gonna.
blood.
Yeah, it's definitely going to
If you
taste
want
like
to
shit.
put nutrient paste into your mouth, I'm not going to stop you.
Listen,
So
we've all
wherever-
had corpse starch, though.
Look,
How much worse can it be?
Wherever
Look,
Rassie,
I'm prepared to watch Rassie put it in his mouth, see what happens. So
Oh,
he's going to. He's
I think
going
that's something
to.
that we're going to. At some point, we're going to be like, Rassie, try this, and we're just going to throw a packet at him and see what he does. he's a grunt. He'll eat
You've
anything.
invented the Warhammer 40K version of Jackass. So.
Yeah, it's be
Bro,
like,
I'm
oh,
gonna put this nutrient paste in my mouth. Bro, I'm vomiting everywhere.
wherever Rassie puts his stuff to sleep in this bunker, he's also going to be like, he's going to try to like stack some of his stuff up to make a shelf, and he's going to do, and I know Omar knows what I'm talking about, but he's going to put like little portraits and statues basically of his chain of command all the way to like
Wow.
so they're
All the
just
way up to the
there
God Emperor.
all the way up to something that he has to like. There's an obvious place to represent the God Emperor, but he doesn't have something to do it justice.
I
So
see.
he has
So,
like,
Holly, how do you feel knowing that Rassie has a picture of you over his bunk?
It's gonna be the corporate official photo though.
Oh, I see. That makes it better.
Yeah. It starts with Holly. It goes all the way up to Reboot Guilliman and then the God Emperor. But there's no actual. The God Emperor one is no image on file.
so it starts with like a couple of pics, and then it becomes artwork.
I like
Of course
how you have a picture of Robute Guilliman, highly approved by the Codex.
That is definitely an artistic
compliant.
rendering.
And it's absolutely compliant, because if it weren't,
It's since we're all staying in the same place now again. Like you can, part of his daily ritual at the end of every day is he self-flagellates to his chain of command.
It's so strange. Robute Guilliman has such a weird resemblance to Mercutio Borghese.
and of course we see at some point as Velamris is moving into his own personal quarters, he's starting to set up his conspiracy board
Of course.
of
Now,
connections with the Light of Dawn and the other crew mates of, oh god, I'm totally spacing it, Pierre Cowles.
sure.
Of course Pierre is currently missing, and he has a special note next to that. Or not necessarily a note.
If you've
just
ever seen a
special little
murder
icon.
mystery before, though, the murderer being missing is a great cover for murdering people.
If you hang up this board with all this random conspiracy shit, I'm definitely gonna like hang a blanket against one side and just look over as I'm hanging this up to block my view of it and say, "Tidy mind."
I hesitate to ask, are we good for next week, or should I schedule us in for June?
Damn.
Got it.
I am good.
So remember how I've got the off week every other week. I've got a meeting starting partway through the episode. So that will be next week. That will change at the start of March. So because your daylight saving change on the 8th of March.
Sure.
So from the game on the 9th onwards, we won't be an issue anymore. But for
The 23rd and
he froze.
for the
there he is.
23rd would be might be an issue. So I said we could do it be a shorter game. That's all.
Okay. Is everyone else also able to do that?
Good. As of now, I'm good.
Cool. We're gonna do Titan stuff. And you know what? YouTube comments. I haven't built. I know what chassis the Legion are, but if someone wants to do a Neo Buzzard style breakdown of all the weapons of the 20 Titans, you're going to need to send me proof that you own 8 Warlords, a Warlord Nemesis, a Reaver, 10 Warhounds before I ever commit to being like, all right, here's the individual weapon systems and heraldry of the Legio Macaria. Any other closing thoughts before we...
That was a good episode. Velamris almost lost his brain.
Not the whole thing.
Parts of it would
Maybe
be
just-
rewired.
Maybe just like a lobectomy or something. But
Yeah.
You don't know how corrective the mandatory corrective brain surgery is.
No, and I don't want
so
to find
it
out.
could be entirely putting stuff in.
Come out with a bigger brain. Yeah, I feel great. Feel great, guys. Let's go get to work.
Yes,
Praise the Messiah.
Whenever someone talks about Velamris, they definitely talk about a bigger brain move for sure.
Oh, praise the Messiah.
Wow. Well, that's it for us. Have a good night or day or time zone.